Why is this channel so important to me? That's the question I thought I'd answer today. I've talked about how I was an accountant and then I retrained as a mortgage advisor, so I've explained how I've got the knowledge. I've also talked about how I bought at 22 and I did a let to buy a few years later, and then I bought my house in my 30s. So I've explained how I've got the experience when it comes to having the knowledge and the experience of having the actual practical experience. But why is this so important to me? And why did I name the channel Mortgages and Money Matters? I wanted to address that today. So the reason being is I think it's really, really important for people to understand how money works. Now, as I said, I was an accountant and then I retrained as a mortgage advisor. And the reason that is because someone said to me that I'm a lot more passionate about when I talk about property and what I've done with property and how it all works than I ever was when I was an accountant. No offence to all those accountants out there, but I've always found it really boring. I'm just good at maths, but that doesn't mean that that's what I need to be doing for a living. But years and years ago, that's what I was told. If you're good at maths, why don't you train to be an accountant? And that was the road that I led. But then I remember sitting in my friend's kitchen and it was time for her remortgage, and she hadn't really asked a lot of questions when it came to her mortgage originally. So now she was up for a remortgage. She really didn't understand how it all worked. So I talked her through it all, and she was just like, you see, and I told her, you can do additional borrowing. There's so many opportunities, things that you can do. You can port the mortgage. There's so many different options and things you can do when it comes to a remortgage, rather than just doing a like for like. And she kind of looked at me like, huh? And I was just like, no, there is. And she was just like, no, I'm not saying there isn't. She said, it's just that you are so fired up talking about mortgages. She goes, when I asked you about finance and doing my books and helping with my accountancy, she goes, you kind of duck me. And I said, that's because I just find it so incredibly boring. It's bad enough doing it at work, let alone doing it at home. But no matter how tired I am, I could have had a long day. If someone wants to talk to me, and I do evening calls, about mortgages and the options, then I'm more than happy to talk about it. And I love when first time buyers come and they literally don't understand how it all works, and I'm like, would you like me to explain the buying process? And they're like, yes please. I mean, that makes my day, because I get to explain how it all works, and someone walks away with, yes, a great mortgage deal, but they also walk away with that understanding. And I sat down and I thought to myself, do you know what? It's great as a mortgage advisor that I give them all of this information and understanding, but I wanted to do it on a bigger scale rather than just talking to people on a one-to-one basis. I thought if I created this channel, then I could talk to people about mortgages on a bigger scale. But then when I was creating the mortgage channel, after a few conversations, I realised that people need to understand more about money as well as just mortgages. And the reason being is there's a start, a middle and an end, and if you start at mortgages, you've already missed the beginning. When you're coming to get a mortgage, you do need to understand what budgeting is. You do need to understand how to save your deposit. You need to understand where your money is going to begin with. If you start off by, when you get your first job and you know how to organise your finance, it makes it so much easier to save for a deposit and then later on be able to afford all the bills that are included. I mean, it's not just a mortgage. A mortgage comes... When you buy a home, it comes with more than just a mortgage. You have to pay utilities and loads of other stuff. And to build that deposit in the first place, there's a lot of work that needs to go into it. So that's why I thought the best thing to do was to call it Mortgages and Money Matters, because money really does matter. And when it comes to it, you need to either build a credit or a credit footprint, or you need to improve it. So you can do credit repair, or you can just maintain the right credit, or you can build your credit. So all of that is foundational work while you're saving for a deposit, and that is what it's all about. And then a lot of people at the moment are really struggling with remortgages because the interest rate is so much higher than it was when they originally bought their property, and maybe they borrowed, there are stress tests, but maybe they borrowed a little bit more than they would normally because the interest rates were so much lower. So I just thought that by having this channel, I would be able to talk about all of these things and help explain a little bit from my own personal experience and obviously the education that I've received about how it all works, and maybe help a few people out. So that's kind of why I created the channel and why I'm so passionate about it. I haven't always been the most consistent, I'll be honest. I have got let life get in the way. But what I really want to do now, and what really makes me, everybody says, what's your why for doing things? It's all very well for having the experience and everything, but it's because I really, really like people to understand. So I think I've learned all of this stuff for a reason, and I want to be able to pass it on and other people understand it. And that's the reason I do it. So that is my why, the why for the channel. I'd love for you to subscribe, look through the videos. There's over 100 videos now about personal finance and mortgages. And if you can spread the word, if you can subscribe and you can share, as everybody says on all of the YouTube channels, it does help the algorithm, but then I can help more people. And I think that would be a really good thing, to be able to help other people the way I'm hoping that I've helped you. So have a great day, and don't forget to hit the subscribe. And the other thing is, if you've got any ideas or anything you'd like me to talk about around finance, personal finance or mortgages, or even investment properties, I've got a lot of experience around all of those areas. I'd be more than willing to do a brand new video about it if one of the old ones needs refreshing, or a video about it if I've never done it before. So thank you so much for your time, and yeah, it's been really, really lovely talking to you all. Take care. Bye bye.